Hello students, hope you are doing well. So in today's lecture we'll see that how to implement the pre and post increment operator in C++. Okay, so with the help of a practical example we'll see the unary operator overloading of pre and post increment operator. So these are unary operators because they only take a single operand in which they have to process the task. So what I'll do, I'll just create some data members. So this is the data member that I have created, and in the public section I'll be creating some constructors. So this is a default constructor that I am creating. That is a explicit defined default constructor, user defined default constructor that will be used in this program, and some constructors of type parameterized because they are used to initialize the value, okay, to this particular data member. So now I'll be, okay, declaring this operator, okay, plus plus. So now I will write, okay, the declaration part of this unary operator. So the return type is op, that is the name of the class. Okay, instead of name of the function I'll just write operator plus plus. Okay, and it doesn't take any argument. So this is the declaration, okay, of the operator that we are going to overload. Okay, so the return type is the name of the class, that is op. Okay, name of the function, instead of name of the function we have just written operator plus plus. Okay, this is the keyword operator, plus plus is the operator that is we are going to overload, and it doesn't take any argument. Okay, so there are no arguments or no references or no objects we have passed here. Okay, it shouldn't contain any argument because it is working on a single operand. So now we just create a function to display. So this is void show, and inside this particular function we just write the value of a, okay, that we are going to show. So a is equal to, we have to just write a, and we have to just give a new line. So that's it. So now I'll be just creating the definition part, okay, later on. So I will just create main. Okay, so inside main what we are going to do, we have to create certain objects. Okay, so we'll just create object o1 that contains a parameter, for example 10, and an object o2, okay, that is used, okay, like this, o2 is equal to plus plus o1. Okay, so now this o2 is responsible for invoking the user defined explicit constructor. Okay, and now this statement means that we are more interested in pre-increment task. Okay, so this is pre-increment, we are overloading pre-increment, and this particular expression or this particular syntax is being resolved by the compiler like o2 is equal to o1 dot operator, okay, plus plus, and it doesn't contain any argument. So no object has been passed as an argument here. Okay, this you have to remember, because if we are working with unary operators, so it works on a single operand and no operand must be passed, or no object must be passed as an argument. So this particular statement o2 is equal to plus plus o1 will be resolved internally by the compiler like this. Okay, in which o1 is the caller object, it is calling this particular function, okay, and it is returning the value to o2. And now what we have to do, we have to just write, okay, because we have to just show the value, so we'll just write cout after overloading, okay, after overloading the value of a in o2 is, okay, so we have to just check the value of o1 and o2 both. So it will be o2 dot show, and in the same way, okay, I'll just copy it down, and in the same way I have to write the value of a in o1 is, and I'll just call o1 dot show. Okay, so now the values of a in both o1 and o2 will be reflected when we'll just invoke this show function. Now we'll just write the definition for the main. So how the definition will be written, okay, so if you consider this particular statement o2 is equal to o1 dot operator plus plus, it means o1 is calling this particular function and it is returning certain value to, okay, o2, and o2 is of type op because it is also of type class. So what we'll do, we'll just write, so here the return type will be op, okay, followed by the name of the class, followed by scope resolution operator, followed by operator keyword, okay, the operator that we are going to overload, and no arguments inside this function. So it is in the same way we define any member function outside the class, so that contains, okay, the return type, the name of the class, okay, and the name of the function and the arguments, or it doesn't contain any arguments. So in our case, as we are working with unary operators, so there are no arguments inside this particular function that we have created. So I'll be creating a temporary variable of type op, and we'll just write temp.a is equal to plus plus a. So it means we have just, okay, overloaded this pre-increment operator, and we have just performed the pre-incremented task. So we haven't used any dot operator in this particular a, because this a is being passed implicitly, okay, because this a belongs to o1 and this has been passed implicitly, because there is no argument, okay, that we have passed here, okay, there is no object that we have passed here, there is no reference we have passed here, so we can access this directly, okay, because it is implicitly accessed by the compiler. We'll just return, okay, we'll just return this object, so we'll just write return temp, okay, and this temp will be returned to, okay, this particular line, that is line number 36, okay, it will be returned to o2, and we'll just see that how this o2 will behave now, okay. So we'll just see the output. So after compiling, okay, let's try to compile it and let's check for any errors. So there are some errors, okay, it says, okay, because in the declaration part we haven't written this semicolon, so now there are no errors. So let's try to execute it. So it says that after overloading, the value of o2 is 11 and the value of o1 is 11, okay. So the output is correct because it's working the same way as, okay, it should be. This is pre-increment, okay, and the value has been passed as 10. So first it increments the value of 10, and at the same time it will assign this incremented value to o2, okay. It means that the value of o1 will also be 11 and the value of o2 will also be 11, okay. So it says that our logic is correct, okay. So now in the same way we can also perform the post increment task, okay, but there is a difference in the post increment, okay. What we have to do, first of all, we have to just write, in spite of writing plus plus o1, okay, we have to change here, we have to just write o2 is equal to o1 plus plus, okay. Inside this, okay, function we have to pass a dummy, okay, variable, okay, a dummy argument has to be passed, so that, okay, it tells the compiler now this operator is, okay, overloaded for post increment. This will be a post increment task, okay. And here what I have to write, I have to write a plus plus, okay. So now this will be the correct logic. In the same way, in the declaration part also, what I have to do, I have to write, okay, int here, okay, we'll just write int here. Just int is telling the compiler that yes, now the overloading is of post increment operator, or the overloading is of post, okay. So if you are working with post decrement also, then you have to also pass this int, okay. This int is signifying, okay, post task, okay, this signifies post task, okay, because plus plus is common to both, okay, pre and post. So in order to, you can say, segregate this particular operation, this int has been taken as a convention by the C++ developers. So now, okay, what we'll do, we'll just try to compile this code and let's check for the output. So it has been successfully compiled. So now you can see the output has been changed, okay. Now it says that the value of a in o2 is 10, and after overloading the value of a in o1 is 11. So it is working correctly, okay. So o2 contains 10, so it means that first the value of a will be assigned to this temp.a, okay. So the value of a, that is the value in o1, okay. So this 10 is being assigned, okay, to o2, and after that the increment in this 10 will be there, okay. So o2 will contains the old value, that is the original value, that is 10, and o1 will contains the incremented value or the changed value, that is 11, okay. Because o1 plus plus, it means o2 is equal to o1 and then o1 is equal to o1 plus 1. It can be resolved like this, okay. So we can also write this line as, okay, we can also write this line as o2 is equal to o1 dot operator plus plus, and we can pass any dummy value. Okay, so we can just pass 3. So this is a dummy integer value we have just passed. So now we just try to compile this. So it will be compiled, and if we try to execute it, so you just see there is no change in the output. We are getting the same output that we expected. Okay, so O2 contains the old value of A and O1 contains the incremented value of A, because we are working with post task. So in this way, okay, overloading of post and pre increment takes place. Okay, so I hope now it is clear to you. Thanks.